I'll give you now 3 practices that can help you to embrace your shadow, to start doing this shadow work. So the first one really is self-awareness. By noticing your own behavior, your own feelings, your own thoughts without self-judgment. This practice of, becoming aware can help you become more attuned and more calm even, clear, without immediately looking at yourself with criticism and shame. That's really important that you don't do that. It's really important that you put self-judgment aside. Criticizing yourself, shaming yourself, guilting yourself, put that aside. Just notice. It's not processing by now. It's just noticing your own behavior, your own feelings, your own thoughts, that voice, mental voice that we all have in your mind, always chatting. And what does it say? What is it judging? What is it criticizing? Just, look, observe those things yourself. Notice the emotions and enter into a dialogue with them. Really, just have a conversation with them. Again, it's just being curious, just question. When there is a thought that pops into your mind or a trigger, ask, why am I feeling this way? What is the emotion behind it? Oh, it's fear. Fear of what? What am I scared about? And then just go and ask questions, have this dialogue without judgment. And then integrate what you've learned from this dialogue through action. And one activity that you can do is, for instance, to think of someone that triggered you to your core. We all have that one person that really, just that breathing, just triggers it to your core, just makes you lose your mind. Just think of that someone. Notice any strong emotional reactions that you have. What is the thing that really annoys that, about that person? What is it? Describe it. Describe the details, the characteristics that most bother you in that person. What upsets you? What drains you? What actually pushes you away from that person? And then write about it. Kind of writing, but in a conversational type of way, like you're talking and questioning and expressing the feelings to yourself, but write about it. And don't filter. Have no filters whatsoever. Just dump it all in there. Don't refine it. Also, don't go back and refine the phrases or the grammar or whatever. No, just dump it all in there and be completely honest. That's a very good exercise for you to start having that awareness about your own shadows. The second exercise or practice is the practice of self-compassion. Healing, the process of healing, it requires, most of all, a lot of self-compassion. It requires that you are really kind to yourself. Really, really kind. Not being judgmental about what you've done, what you thought, what you're thinking. No, you're just human. So be compassionate, be kind to yourself, right? Cut yourself some slack. Just go easy on you, because it will be hard to hold the discomfort of the shadow if you keep judging yourself, if you keep criticizing yourself. And you won't go as far as confronting the monsters, per se, within you if you hate yourself for having them. So it's really important during any healing process that self-compassion is at the forefront of your mind always, okay? And the third practice is to be honest with yourself always. We all have this part of ourselves that avoids being vulnerable, avoids being raw and honest with other people, because again, it goes back to our human need of being accepted and being loved. So we can't possibly say everything we think of and be completely honest, because we risk not being accepted and loved. Okay, so the only kind of person that we can allow ourselves to be honest with is with ourselves. And most people are not even honest with themselves. So in order to start a healing process and shadow work, and we really have to be completely vulnerable and raw and honest with ourselves. Admit anything. Notice when you place criticisms, when you place hard judgments on others. Be honest about your thoughts, about what you feel, how you feel, why you feel the way you feel. And then, come to terms with the zone parts of your personality. We need to be honest so we can really notice what's going on underneath the surface. And if we don't feel courageous enough to be honest with the world, with our closed ones, start by being honest with yourself first. Stop the bullshit. Stop the stories, the victim stories, the blaming stories. Just be completely honest with yourself. No one needs to know that. But the alchemy that will come from it will benefit you greatly. It will benefit you greatly. The alchemy of the transformation that comes from being completely honest. Because when you are then honest, you are able to notice the real triggers. You are able to really have that self-awareness that it's real, that it's not based on the lies and the stories that we tell ourselves. I'm not saying shadow work is easy. I said that there are lots of misconceptions about shadow work. But I never said shadow work will be enlightening and flow and easy. You will not. Why? Because first, we have this discomfort of, being real with ourselves and admitting these parts of ourselves that we hidden away, that we feel ashamed of. First, we have that discomfort. But the hardest part is really the integration, is really the acceptance, integrating all the information that you learn about yourself. Because it will feel uncomfortable and it will feel unfamiliar, and it might be off-killer. It might be a bit overwhelming. That's why self-compassion is so important. But on the flip side, By leaving the shadow, embodying the shadow, you are rewarded with more wholeness, because you are inviting that part of yourself to join you, to sit with yourself at the table. You are inviting the shadow in your life instead of pushing it away. You are becoming whole, your true self, who you truly are at the soul level. And to step into our full authentic self, we must risk the parts of ourselves that provoke guilt, shame, disgust, because it goes back to the polarities and the universal balance. Only then you are able to see the brightness within the dark, the gold and the treasures behind what is hidden. That's why it's so important to do shadow work, and why shadow work is so important in the healing process.